Casting staff or directors in general, how awkward is it to hire people for unattractive characters as in their whole role is being fat or ugly? You know, I was thinking about it and personally I'd be happier getting a role for being fat or ugly than losing a role for not being attractive enough. Yeah, I keep thinking of that post that circulated around the internet that says something like, apply for the role of ugly/unattractive characters because if you get the role, you get to be in a movie, but if you don't get the role then you're not ugly enough. Obviously, that isn't necessarily the reason you wouldn't get the role, but it feels like it fits here anyway. I spent a few years in LA going to auditions. Some of the roles I got cast in include overweight jogger, fat guy with beard and guy waiting in line for donuts, which was actually not a specifically fat guy audition, more a hipster, which was also a lot of the roles I went out for. It wasn't that awkward. And I got to know a lot of dudes who kind of look like me just from seeing them at the same auditions. Most awkward audition was for a Polish tire commercial where I had to be topless. I'm Polish, but I'm not sure if I ever saw a tire commercial with a topless fat dude. Maybe it's because there is a lot of topless fat dudes on the TV/internet/in real life, so it just didn't really stand out. This was also maybe 5 years ago. The fat topless guy was going to get knocked over by a tire that came flying in, if that helps. Now we want to see the commercial. I didn't get it, so don't know where to find it. Why is he wearing that? Smiley face. I don't think it was the toplessness that made it awkward. Edit. Skip the first part. There are 2 parts in the video, and it's the second one. The first one is hilarious though. YouTube link. Okay, so that looks like the same exact campaign. Yes, I remember now. Nokian. But not the same spot. I was supposed to be eating late night out of a fridge. Apologies that apparently it's Finnish and not Polish. Edit. I kept watching and yes. That's the commercial. There were no bunny ears in the audition. And I definitely saw that guy around the audition circuit. Also, knowing the company name, I found my old audition ticket. For sure I was worried about audition will be performed in underwear, but like $1K. Web link. I effing love Reddit. I never thought I'd see that spot. Ha 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 ha, holy crap, that is awesome. Their loss, Perry. I got to know a lot of dudes who kind of look like me just from seeing them at the same auditions. I never thought about that, huh? I bet it is the same for actresses who turn up for the same hot chick roles, etc. Mara Wilson wrote about the awkward transition where all her fellow adorable young girl peers, such as Scarlett Johansson and Hilary Duff, started getting cast in sexy young women roles and she didn't. I work at a theater school. The acting students are typically striking looking in some way. Strikingly beautiful, strikingly gaunt, strikingly unsettling, strikingly kind. The fat students are usually a bit big but also very strong and agile. The ugly students are ugly in a unique and interesting way, not merely less attractive than their peers, but positively uglier. They're both the same distance from plane, but in different directions. This is usually a selling point for them, and they know it. Someone who looks fat and lazy but has the stamina to perform all day is an absolute prize. Someone whose selling point is his train wreck of a face knows exactly what he looks like, and in conjunction with his performance skills, has a very sellable product. Remember that most roles have an audition process. You subscribe to, or ask your agent to keep an eye out for roles you are confident you can play. Most actors aren't after a Juliet, a Hamlet. They are after roles that fit their description and skill set. Short, plump ginger-haired woman with a maternal smile in her late 40s is a role certain actors will find and send in a headshot for, just like Hispanic, unattractive, 50+ pounds overweight man, lazy eye or missing teeth desirable will catch the eye of others. You apply for the roles. Professional actors are confident self-starters after a job that pays, that gets them seen, and that lets them show off their range, so as to continue building their career. This brings to mind Adam Driver. Striking but not conventionally attractive. Or Steve Buscemi, who was called ugly in Fargo. Edit. Buscemi was called funny looking in Fargo. I remember when I first saw him in Girls, I wouldn't have described him as hot. I think his acting prowess and intensity makes him more attractive. Also, John Oliver convinced me. Crush my pelvis, you unwashed buffalo. A writer on that show must have some serious kinks. John Oliver is a writer on his show. His delivery seemed very genuine. Oh, you had to bring up Adam Driver. Now all I can think about is John Oliver lusting after him all year on Last Week Tonight. Web link. I swear the only thing that has kept me alive. The culmination, for anyone who may have missed it, Adam Driver to John Oliver. Not a BuzzFeed link. Web link. Explore the effing space, you hollow-boned Mr. Bean cosplayer. This is a great answer. My husband did a fair amount of acting as an older teen/young adult, and he is definitely in the striking category. He isn't conventionally handsome, but he has a look and a presence. Think of a tall, slender, blonde Abraham Lincoln with a red beard. He ultimately realized he didn't have the true drive for acting and ended up going into computer work, but I think he could have definitely succeeded if he had really wanted to. By the way, I find him incredibly attractive, and he has totally aged into his looks. Now he's a very striking-looking older man. One of my favorite compliments I ever received was when I first saw you. I thought I don't know anyone who looks like her. Your face felt totally new. Fat Neil? Neil is fine. Is it? The Oscar-winning Dean's Twitter handle is @RashIceFuglyEdit. Thanks for all the upvotes, my karma doubled in one day. I love to disseminate information about the beloved Jim Rash and change hearts and minds along the way. This better not awaken anything in me. Streets ahead. Jesus wept. But his body is amazing. I forget which episode he's shirtless in, but I was like, what? The body switching episode and the school commercial episode, to name a couple. Dean in a wife beater may have awakened something in me. He was standing right next to another guy named Neil. He's black and bald. I'll make it up to you. I'll find a fatter Neil. David Harbour from Stranger Things auditioned for the role of the Blob in one of the X-Men movies and was told he was too fat. There's also a fat comment on his character, Red Guardian, in Black Widow trailer. He's not even that fat by America's standards. That's because his character is Russian. By Russian standards, he's practically American on the fat scale. We want TV fat, not fat. I could see that being an issue if the effects are going to be done with prosthetics. Same with CGI, where you can always add things, height, weight, limbs, etc., much more easily than remove them. Probably because the Blob was skinny at the beginning of the movie. David Harbour from Stranger Things. Yo mama's so fat she auditioned for the role of the Blob in one of the X-Men movies and was told she was too fat. FTFY. Oh yeah? Well, yo mama's so ugly all the neighbors bought curtains. Your mama so fat, when she grocery shop it affects the stock market. Yo mama so fat, her blood type is ragu. Yo mama so fat that every time she goes sunbathing on the beach, people gather to put her back into the sea. Well, yo mama so stinky, people all over the world is using mask RN. Yo mama so ugly the whole world faked a pandemic so she would wear a mask. Yo mama so fat it took me 2 buses and a train to get on the bitch's good side. My absolute new favorite is Yo mama so fat, Thanos had to snap twice. Yo mama so fat, she got triabetes. I recently discovered yo mama so fat, she outweighs the needs of the many. Yo mama so fat, the Sorting Hat put her in Waffle House. I've been a professional actor for over 20 years and I can say, not awkward at all. If you have an interesting look and you have signed up for and showed up for a casting, you know the deal. Ugly actors aren't less smart or self-aware than good-looking ones. For example, little people or dwarves, they get into acting knowing that they will more likely be an elf in a Christmas special than end up like Peter Dinklage, but they want to act regardless. Bottom line? We are all too needy and self-obsessed to feel awkward, even the ugly ones. I love thee if you are interesting looking. Hope for me yet. The industry hasn't been this into non-traditionally attractive people since the 80s, go and get it. Your time is now. Be yourself. That's what they really want. In the audition, bring a lot of yourself to the character. After that, you can worry all about the character if you get the part, but auditioning wise, just be you. That's what they want to see. I was watching Cheers and was blown away by how many visibly balding men were on there. It's just not something you see a lot of on TV or film. I have a very small bald spot and they spray brown paint on it sometimes if it's in a shot. The example I always use is the teen stars of the 80s, Molly Ringwald, Anthony Michael Hall, Ali Sheedy. They would have all been out of work in the early 2000s when cheekbones and abs were required to play the ugly best friend. The idea of having grown through puberty in a world where Molly Ringwald isn't in movies makes me sad. Truly, there are still darker timelines than our own. I'm also a character actor and laughed so hard, this is exactly right. Just cast me, man. IDC what costume or makeup I'm in, am I on camera? Is there a paycheck? Check, baby. Edit, Word. Hello, my sister, I'll see you at the cooler filled with bottles of water, digging for a lone Diet Coke. For context. Are you an ugly actor? Like, where are you on the Chris Evans to Chris Mintz-Plasse scale? What's funny about this is, I've been on both sides. In my teens and 20s, I played roles with much more character and grit. I quit drinking at 26, lost a lot of weight in my face and started to get more roles where I was kissing girls or selling products. Right now, I'm in car commercials and small roles in movies and TV. I'm nowhere near a Chris Evans. I kind of look like most of the guys you see in car commercials. Average white dude with nice teeth. Are you the guy who buys his wife a car for Christmas and then she steals your color? But she loves it. She loves it. My favorite part of Christmas is commercials where rich couples buy each other $75,000 plus luxury cars for Christmas without consulting the other about finances. Lol. Like, WTF, man, I am definitely not your target demographic. Not quite the same thing, but I saw an advert where they were looking to film in a bedsit, so I got in contact and the location scout came around to see my place. The film was the low-budget drugs drama London to Brighton, and they wanted a bedsit for where the two lead characters lived, who were both heroin addicts and living in abject misery without a penny to their name. They didn't use my place in the end, but the location scout did say it was almost perfect. The only problem is that it's too small. Which made me feel really great about where I lived back then, I can tell you. Web link. They probably couldn't fit the production team in there and still film effectively, if that makes you feel better. This is what I thought. This is a good Crackdown, but we can't fit 25 people in here comfortably, sorry. Sir, couldn't we shoot the Crackdown's closet scene in here though? For heaven's sake, Jenkins, what sort of self-respecting crackhead would leave their closet in this state? It does, but only very slightly. Though I guess the main thing is that I live somewhere a lot nicer now, not cocaine addict standard, but probably quite nice for a marijuana addict. What is a bedsit? Is this a UK thing? Yes. Think of it like a single room with a sink and a hot plate type cooking facilities. Edit, a bedsit isn't quite the same thing as a studio apartment in the US. The UK has US-style studios as well. A bedsit is a solid step below a studio. Maybe a SRO or a long-stay motel would be a better visualization on what it's more like. Here's one very small example. Web link. So like prison, but you can leave when you want? This happened to me. They were looking for a rundown, messy-looking house for a single mother of 2 kids. Mine was almost perfect except the layout wouldn't work with the cameras. Before they came to look, they told me to leave the dishes in the sink and everything in the front yard. Kind of embarrassing to be picked for my mess. They found us by driving by and knocking on our door. Former casting director in Hollywood for 13 years, HBO, Netflix, and every major network, plus some international commercials. It's not awkward at all. It's a business like any other business, and every role has a place and is extremely important. The actors all know that. I've never had a single actor not really want a part. They all know that any role can be a huge career booster at any level, so be it for commercials, music videos, TV shows or film, all of which I cast. They 1, were stoked on the money, and 2, knew it could be a great opportunity to do what they loved, make great connections on set, leads to more roles, and take their career to the next level. I'll add that the breakdown for a role, aka a Hollywood term for job listing, never says ugly. Like every business, Hollywood has its own vocabulary. And as others have pointed out, Hollywood ugly is not everyday life ugly. If you think about it, any ugly actor always has some really specific character traits that make them who they are: funny, charming, devious, conniving. So the actor needs to have those / act them well. AKA it's rarely just about their looks. A role might be listed as age, 50s 60s character actor, quirky, fun-loving. A whole lot of other descriptors, along with a 3-line summary of key traits / context. All professional actors know what that means, and all that audition are there because they want to be. It isn't a bait and switch. There are no surprises. Overwhelmingly, almost all actors I've cast were an absolute joy to work with, a solid 98%. Only about 2% were not. Some of those you've seen in the press, and they absolutely would come back for repeat roles even if character roles. I always treated every cast member with great kindness and respect, regardless of how they looked, because I knew the value that each one brought. I was always very grateful for their hard work because they made the whole project come together, and that made everyone happy. Also, casting directors are rooting for their cast to kick ass. We get just as excited, behind the scenes, to see them crush a role as they are to play the role. This means all the actors, young, old, pretty or character. We're stoked equally for each one's success. Adding a Hollywood ugly fun fact, typically where networks draw the line is teeth. That's right. It's kind of a known joke. NBC, ABC. You name it, a person could be missing a limb, hair, appendages, not a problem just as long as they have all their teeth. That's where they draw the line. It would appear that for Americans at least, it's the one thing that makes people actually change the channel. Edit 2. Adding a response about kids, for the question above regarding casting the unattractive kid. In short, I never cast roles like that because I simply couldn't on a moral / conscience level. Parents of kid actors are often, well, just unique / difficult. Think stage mom who wants their kid to be famous, so I already have my own views on all that. I didn't want to contribute to the problem. During my time in the biz, I only cast a couple projects with kids in them, and I only chose things that were super fun, encouraging, and that the kid would have a blast filming and be proud of. Because who wouldn't love playing with a giraffe all day for a day? And make money. Super fun. Edit, you guys. Thank you for all the awards. I'm glad you found my comment informative. Casting for me was a real joy, getting to find diamonds in the rough and having the honor of helping some of them on their path to forging great careers, playing amazing roles, and touching so many of you through their art and the characters they played. It's a special kind of magic, and I was happy to be a part of it. Now I get to sit back and watch my friends who are still in the business continue that work. YouTube link. I like your answer best so far. You explain well and seem really kind and honest. Thanks. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.